recording now. We're recording right now. Episode 1.
Yeah.
Pass me my beer first before we get started.
Pass the beer. Welcome to Invoke Podcast. My name is Adrian. Be a part of kind of the journey to invoke thought amongst the community about certain topics that are important. Today's topic is actually going to be about the barriers to success and kind of how to overcome that. We're going to get started. We have some industry experts. We have a couple rappers. We have a musician, a guitarist, bass player, a car enthusiast, and we also have my ace Boone Jordan here as well. She is very creative in a lot of aspects. To kick this whole thing off, what are some obstacles that you or people that you know have had to overcome in the industry?
For me, my major obstacle was finding my place. Once I got over that obstacle, other obstacles didn't seem so vital and prevalent as finding who I was in the industry. I'm a hip-hop artist. I've been doing it for close to 10 years. A lot of people will quote me as getting my start in 2014 when I dropped a project called The Great Depression, and it was an organic project, but I actually got my start in 2011. I was doing mixtapes, and I was in the mixtape era. That's when Wayne was, the No Ceilings and all these different artists doing their thing. So I kind of took that route and started rapping over other people's beats just to find myself as a musician. Now, at first, I would consider myself as a rapper at that point, because I didn't know how to write hooks, didn't know how to put things together, and I wanted to get signed. And I feel like that's every artist at first. You know what I'm saying? I still
It's that dream.
was signed to deal, even though I have my own record label. But put it all in a nutshell, that obstacle of finding my place, what it was that I was gonna do was did I see myself as an artist? At one point, I did. Then once I started learning and getting the information advantage, it's like, okay, shit, I can be a mogul.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying? So like, just finding who I was, finding my place, like, yeah, I got the superstar talent, but maybe my route is Currency, maybe my route is Nipsey Hussle, maybe my route is Master P.
Do you feel like you found that already?
Absolutely.
Yeah. How did you what's the process of even finding your place in this industry? Because it's so much of a lot of stuff.
You gotta
out there.
get scammed a few times.
I hate that, man.
You gotta get people hit you up, offer you things for payola, and you gotta pay the money.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta have people fly you out. Once
How
you don't,
get somebody to fly you out? Hold up, I'm trying to, without them trying to be a sugar
saying?
daddy.
Nah, for real. Once you turn the deal down, the hotel that you staying in, you go back to your room, the card don't work no more.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? You got to go through all of those things. Like,
yeah.
Every process you got to go through it to actually figure out this is what I'm supposed to do. And after you do all of these things in 2020, when all these PPP loans are given out, and you figure out that you didn't do your LLC correctly, and you've been on this grind
the IRS gonna be on your ass
for 6 years, and you've been doing all of the things that you should do to receive certain small loans and grants, and then you figure out you've been doing it all the way wrong. See, we want these labels to come in and give us these deals and not understand that these deals are loans.
Yeah.
So the same way but the label is, they giving you these loans without you having built up credit. They're just that, like, it's like going to an uncle or somebody who got some money, like, can you invest $10,000 or whatever into me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when you get to that point, I'm gonna make a long story short story long. but that's what I went through. Like, I put together an LLC in 2016, right? So if you think about all the things that I did, merch, put on my own shows, studio time, music videos, gas here and there, food. Even if you buying guards, all is a write-off, right? You doing all of these things, and then you get into COVID, and everything starts shutting down, and they start giving away all this relief, and you start figuring out, shit, I should be able to get some of these things. I got an LLC. And then you go into it, and you like, no, your PPP loan was denied. Your small business grant was denied because you hadn't been doing everything correctly, because you want to be so under the table. Like, I go into a lot of cash flow with this shit, and I just thought, I ain't finna pay no taxes. It's all my motherfucking bread.
Yeah.
And so that was the way that I went with it. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like I do everything right. When that controller come up every quarter, I'm paying my whatever it is.
But see, you gotta bump your head a couple
Facts.
times.
It's the information curve.
Yeah, that was kind of one of my things I was gonna say is like lack of knowledge. And I'm an artist, I'm a musician, so like just in my industry, it's kind of like when I first got here, not even just knowledge of like all the business and logistics side, but it's really just like, what do you do? What's the first thing that you do when you first touch down to a city that you know nobody in? You don't know where to go, you don't know who to talk to, how to network or anything. What's your first thing to do? I got on Instagram and I just started looking up Dallas artists and like see what they doing. And you know what I'm saying? And it's like, hopefully you find a good role model to follow after and not somebody out here that's just kind of effing around or whatever. I don't know if I want to curse on this or not.
I say fuck it. I say fuck it. It's all the language.
I guess we done said fuck it. So, but you want to follow in somebody's footsteps and see kind of how they got their start. And pretty much what you start doing initially is do the open mics. You know what I'm saying? I pretty much broke my back last year for like months straight, just doing open mic after open mic. It got to the point where I was doing too many in a day and I started overbooking and I got drained. Then it's about like balance. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do y'all balance
that? Kind of goes into my biggest barrier to success, because it's kind of in line with what y'all have been saying. Yeah. But to me, the best advice I've ever gotten is like, you are your own worst enemy, or something like that. You are your worst enemy, or something like that, because a lot of this is finding what you want to do, getting out of your own way. Like, if you are burning yourself out doing open mics, or burning yourself out like on people that don't quite see things the same way as you, or burning yourself out on a scam like a PPP, a PPP loan or whatever, something like that. Like you're hurting your own career by trying to cut corners and stuff. And at least for me, that's been a huge thing. Like just understanding, like, hey man, like you gotta battle yourself. Like it goes even deeper. There's like philosophical theories on this, like Carl Jung and stuff. There's two sides to every individual. There's like the shadow. And then there's like the consciousness that you have. So I mean, to me, the biggest thing, that shadow, or like the stuff that you're not thinking about, that's the stuff that gets you the most. But that's you doing that to yourself, like
right.
That's kind of my thing. Yeah, you are your worst enemy.
That's real.
Got anything on that?
That's real. That's something I'm actually going through right now.
Right.
Like,
I'm with you when you
two in my head. Like, Dirt ain't even here, but we in the studio right now, and I did a take. And I'm the type that's super, super, super perfectionist, like times 1,000, to the point where it's self-detrimental. And like, I'm trying to overcome that. I'll do a take and he'll be like, oh, that shit sound fire. And I'll be like, nah, that is not a good take, man. You don't hear them little influctuate. Like, it be the smallest things that I notice that I want to fix and do better.
And it was probably fire too. Like,
low-key, I talk about imposter syndrome. It's just like you feeling like people are going to see your mistakes and really think that you are your mistakes and not really what you are good at. And because a lot of times when you think about it, you have good reviews and you have bad reviews. As a restaurant owner, you've kind of focused in on the bad reviews so that you can fix what it is that they're talking about. But like, sometimes as an artist, when you focus on the bad negativity and all that shit, it's like, that can be overwhelming, and you focus in on that too much. Now you start doubting yourself and internalizing that shit.
What if it's just on the other side of the coin, like my man said? Maybe what if it's not necessarily that it's not the other people or the things that are fucking with you? It may be you. It's like you just said, like you'll do a take and someone said that, oh, that shit fire, but you knew that you could do it better. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you knew that you want to bring the best out of yourself sometimes, and a lot of times that's what it be too. Like most critics are assholes.
Being my biggest critic.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sometimes we just suffer from paralysis by analysis.
That in itself, man. Anybody else? We can take a brief intermission, actually. Let's take a brief intermission.
Nice.
We're going to take a drink. Cheers to Invoke Podcast. bit of a break because I like to take shots and I like to get lit and I like to get everybody lit around me. So that's just what we're doing. So pretty much what we left off at was lack of knowledge. I didn't know where to go. One thing that I learned was there's a few places that you can go as an artist to do open mics. A lot of people ask me, like, where do people perform? Where do you go to do your shit? Like, who do you know? How do you get locked in with these people? And I'm just kind of like, okay, I have a list. Pop-up DFW is one of the locations that really started me out initially. I was real nervous. My first performance was complete garbage, but you know, it be that way. And a lot of people low-key like to see growth, you know, so that's another thing.
It's a friendly scene out here, DFW. I would say, yeah, like, I mean, I've done open mics and stuff, and coming from a stand-up background, I did open mics in other places.
Yeah.
And, like, in general, like, art-wise, yeah. Like,
I love it. I love it.
Pop-up, that's a good mic. DFW in general, pretty friendly scene.
Where else do y'all know to perform at?
I mean, it's pretty open, like, out here. Like, it's a lot of artists. Since I've been in Dallas probably, like, 10, 11 years.
Sheesh. So he's your tour guide.
So, like, literally, like, I've seen things come up and fall off and whatever, but the whole time there's always been an open mic artist. There's always been something. The Dallas scene, music scene, I feel like is super talented compared to a lot of other scenes.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm from DC originally, but you know, I didn't really grow up in the music scene there because I wasn't doing it as much or like as popping as I am like when I was like starting to do it.
I don't like Wale either.
Yeah, he's okay. He's okay. You know what I'm saying? He's just mediocre.
Shots. Bang bang. Hey, Green Elephant.
Elephant.
That's
but
what
I was about to say.
Royal Lane
Lanes,
Studio.
Royal Lanes.
Right.
Yeah, like a lot of but one that's been going on for longer than all of those places. I would have to give a shout out to him. Is Rip the Mic on Mondays. Sam, he's my Gemini brother. Shout out to him. Since that was one of the first places I did one of my first open mics in 2012. So it was like. And he's still doing those on Mondays every night. And I've done it a bunch of times out of there. So Mondays, you want Rip the Mics. Yeah. Tuesdays is the Green Elephant. Fridays, you probably can get something slid in that pop-up.
Wednesdays. Thursdays, Speak Easy.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Wednesday, pop-up with
the R&B.
The R&B, Smooth Vibes. Like, there's so many.
It's a lot of poetry and R&B on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then
What about
Thursday,
here?
you said the Royal Lane.
Creators Don't Die.
Creators Don't Die. They have a lot of events.
I think they got a mic here at Thursdays, right?
I don't know about. I think they do open mics.
The Freeman is the one they do a lot of open mics with the band too.
That's real. That's real.
And that's just our culture. Think about the other cultures that's out there that's doing music in Dallas, because Dallas is a huge melting pot.
It is.
So think about all of the, like you said, because the Freeman, they do stuff on other nights, but it made me think about the little restaurants that have the karaoke nights. It's the same thing as open mic, because people will come and sing
Fusion
their own
Vibes. We did karaoke.
This is a super musical city. So like,
there's stages for you. It's a stage for you.
If you're an artist, all you have to do, like she said, is literally just ask.
Just ask.
Like, ask one person, then you're gonna go this, and then from there you're gonna learn this.
Yeah.
Like you say, you look at Instagram, another podcast about what's going on in Dallas, anything. All the artists, like you said, is very friendly, and they push out. Like, I'm from the East Coast, they're not friendly there.
No,
you know what I'm
not
saying?
at all.
So it's like, I had to learn, like, okay, no, they're not trying to finesse me.
That was a cultural shock when I came here, because I'm always on guard. Like, I'm from Chicago, South Side, so it's like, ooh, what part? Hold up, wait a minute.
What part of South Side though?
I'm from Pullman, but I moved down from Chicago to Texas when I was 8 years old.
Oh,
so back in 1995.
Okay.
Probably older than some of the
Hey, you was 8 and 95? You like a couple years older.
1995 is when I moved down. Yeah, I came from Chicago.
That's crazy.
Where my father retired, but I've been here for quite some time. Other than when I went to school in New York and then deployed to Iraq. I've been in Texas most of my life.
Thank you for your service, brother. Yeah.
Hey, are you military?
I was.
I'm about to say, how did you deploy to Iraq and not be in the military?
No, I was in the military. So
I'm scared of that.
So I'm not in the music industry. I mean, whoa. Yeah, there's Whiskey Boy. Whiskey Boy is one of the artists. He's actually here doing a sound test. I'm his investor, so that's how I end up in all these spots.
Okay.
But in a nutshell, if you want to say what I am, I have and I'm not here to toot my horn. I've been bred to
No, pop your shit. Invoke us.
bred to be a leader of organizations, and that's what I do.
Okay.
So I own my own trucking company. I have a small fleet of truck. I have about 7 semi-trucks. I'm also a project manager at IBM as well. I've been a martial artist. I have my own car company where I taught people how to race cars on the track.
Awesome,
Just
man.
kind of me in a nutshell.
Say your name. Say your name again to everybody.
That's Ryan Cameron.
Humble, brother. Doing a podcast. I wouldn't have known any of that stuff about you, bro.
Yeah, I'm pretty quiet. And if we want to talk about philosophies and stuff like that and kind of overarching things, I can chime in. But if it's like into the music,
I got a question for you though. How do you balance your personal life, your family, and everything with everything you got going on? And I have that question really for everybody because I'm struggling with that right now.
Well, the
currently.
project manager, I'm sure he's gonna have a good
Right. That's why I'm like, we need an expert. How do you do that?
I just do it because I realized that, and I had a blow up on somebody about a couple of weeks ago on it, and I basically said that you don't basically I was basically saying you don't understand all the pressure and all the stuff I have to do, and then I stepped back and I took it. I was like, you know what? I'm like 1 in 10, maybe 1 in 100. I can't expect them to understand what I have to do to be a success. You don't know what I have to do to keep the lights on, to keep these truckers' bills paid and stuff like that. So I just step back and I just do it. I'm always on the go. I'm always doing stuff, and I just do it. So one of the things that the other gentleman was speaking about, and it kind of made me think, is that once you get to a certain level on everything that you do, because I've been a company commander as a captain in the Army where I had 140 people underneath me. There's got to be a point where you got to let go and be able to dictate and to dictate authority, but not responsibility. Allow people to do the work for you, and you can step back and be like what I can describe as be a quarterback. So the quarterback sits in a pocket and he looks around, and you only get involved at a certain point and step back. Look at that problem, get involved and step back.
How do you
gotta
trust
entrust
people
and
though?
empower people to do
How do you do that? Because
That was my question.
my biggest challenge, even just putting this together, has been like I put power on somebody, I put responsibility on somebody, and then they fall through and they're unreliable.
I see their abilities, but I also like see my vision and how do you balance that out?
And I vibe with you already because I already see it through your presence. And it's basically you have to show them what it is, your standard.
Yes, you have
and
to,
then they will become to your standard. You train them exactly. You program them.
And then you step back.
That's the only way you trust them is to program them.
You have to communicate your vision. You have to communicate your vision, show them how to get to your vision, because this is your thing. This is your realm. No one's gonna care about as much as you.
Exactly.
No one's gonna care about
That's
you.
real.
Program them and train them
you do more
to
than
do
you.
it the way you want to do it, and they make it their life.
Yeah.
I'm just vibing with it because I'm like, man, I'm seeing a lot of
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying,
fire.
comparisons.
Right.
whatever.
I would also add like lead by example too. I'm sure y'all would agree with that. Like if you show them what it is to be, if you show your subordinates, I don't know, it's not really like that, but if you show your team,
I mean it is, but it is.
In the military.
The people that you're paying, they're
Right.
I mean, it don't even have to be like that, but like like the people that you're working with, if you show them, if you view yourself work a certain way, then it'll rub off on others.
But that's life, though. If you show people who you are and what you expect and what's supposed to be, that's how they're gonna treat you.
That's right.
Like, so it don't matter if it's a job, if it's project management, if it's a relationship with just one other person, is whatever, like your family members. If you show them what nonsense you're not gonna accept, and you tell them from the get what it is, they're going to become or disappear.
Yeah, that's real.
Like,
I heard.
See, that's how you create great groups, great. You know what I'm saying? From teams.
Yeah, I heard a quote somewhere that said, you teach people how to treat you. And that's something that I've kind of struggled with over the years with, like, as a woman, it's kind of tough being around, when you're around a lot of men that kind of are used to being misogynistic and condescending towards people they view as less than. They view you as less than, and they treat you with no kind of respect at all. And it's like, as a woman, it's like, okay, how do you establish that respect without coming off as a bitch, or without... Hold on, I'm gonna give you a mic.
As a woman myself, I would say you would have to establish that respect with yourself. You have to say, you know what, I respect me. I think I'm beautiful. I think I'm fine. You know what I'm saying? If I want to come out here with like my little tight little pants, a skirt or whatnot, I'm gonna do it, and I'm not gonna do it unless someone degrade me because they don't have that freedom within themselves. So you have to find yourself, find your free spirit. You know what I'm saying? Figure out what you like about yourself and what you want to present to other people, because it is all about perspective. At the end of the day, you might have a perspective of yourself, but somebody might have a perspective of you in a completely different
Their
way.
perception totally
So
different.
if you know who you are as a person, you are able to debunk whatever anybody else has to say about you that is not true to you and who you are.
I used to be a people pleaser. I got used to being that and playing that role around like in my family environment, in my relational environment, and like, you know, this conditional love that you would get, and you wouldn't get that love if you make a mistake, or which I think low-key can lead into that imposter syndrome, where if you make a mistake in front of people, now they see that mistake and they see you're not, like, I don't know, you show your human side and people view you as, oh, she's
But it's all
bad.
it's all how you act after that. So like that's the thing. Like you're on stage. If I make a mistake on stage and I'm like, oh, I messed up, it's gonna go left. If I make a mistake and keep rapping, nobody know I made a mistake.
You right.
So it's about, like she's saying, it goes back to you. Like, yes, we're all gonna make mistakes.
Yeah.
It's about owning them.
Yeah.
And keep going and flowing, and people respect you more when you do that.
Yeah.
Because we all go through the same issues. We all go through the same at the principal level. Not the same situations, but we go through the same issues at a principal level.
Right.
So we can all relate. That's why we have music. We have these things that we can all relate to no matter what walks of life we are. So when we see somebody acting the way, of course we're going to perceive you as weak or this if you don't show that I prevailed through this situation. It's
Right.
like human nature to think these things. So you can call a guy misogynistic or this, or maybe you ain't respecting yourself enough that day
Yeah.
or whatever. Like, you got to always be accountable first before you point the blame. Then you can call this man misogynistic or whatever once you already dealt with yourself.
Jordan.
And sometimes it's like maybe it was me, but then like if they keep going, you like, I can already fix that.
Exactly. Then it's on them. Then you know what it is.
So
Like, it is.
And I think once
That's
you get to a
facts.
certain point within yourself, either whether it's at your job, you're at a certain level, or you have that confidence in yourself, because you can be a weak leader and not have confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
But once you get to a point where you're confident in yourself and what you do and your abilities, can you cuss on this podcast? Fuck everybody else. I don't give a shit about what they think. This is me. I'm gonna dress how I want to dress. I'm gonna say
Right.
what I want to say. I'm gonna fire who I want to fire, because this is me. And then you get to deal with it. You can walk out and go somewhere else. This is my life.
That's
And,
real.
I'm a huge people pleaser as well.
Yeah.
Once I let you into my circle, I'm really huge. I'm a people pleaser.
Mhm.
But when it comes to the business and stuff like that, I mean, I hate to be an asshole, but I am an asshole. I've been told many times that I fire this employee and sit the truck and I find somebody else.
Yeah.
It's nice to you up to a certain point.
Sometimes you gotta be that way
because
to
the
keep the
bills are
business
all on me. I'm not
going.
gonna do
Yeah.
shit.
It's part of life. It's part of the society that we're in, bro. Like, it's a dog eat dog culture. You know, like, you gotta get it. I'm getting priced out of my own life. Like bills, like everything's prices rising. Things getting more expensive.
Yeah.
And I gotta be a dog in my job, bro. Cause I want to keep up my stuff. I got stuff I want to do. And I mean, like, that's the trouble. That's also where, you know, like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like, that's the
Right.
trouble. That's the balance you gotta find as an individual, because, you know, you don't want to be just like a psycho, just conquering every, you know, just you can just drop out of life and just scam every many people you'd want, or, you know.
I would recommend.
It's possible to, like, you know, it's possible to be a real asshole and just like and be an authoritarian in your work and stuff, but there's a balance you gotta find.
Yeah.
That's with putting yourself first and your business first, because when it's your business and it's your money, you go put it first. You go be like, look, I like you. I thought you was a good employee, but when you start affecting the business and how I run it and how it affects me as a person, I gotta put it first, bro. You gotta go. You gotta find a different avenue. If you're not trying to benefit the business, if you're not trying to benefit me, if you're not trying to grow as an individual yourself, then you gotta go. You know, maybe you will do better at a different place, and I will do better without you. And that's just it. That's just how it is. That's just life. You gotta accept the realistic things that happen in life for real.
That's facts. I got another question for y'all, and I'm very interested in the answer. So I can't do with you. It's this tequila, okay? I blame the tequila, bro. But maybe not so much in your industry, but as an artist or musician, do you equate success with fame and clout?
No.
No?
Hell no.
No?
Thank you. Please, that's
Big
like
facts.
the most basic, obvious thing, as all artists should know.
But do you equate success with fame and clout?
No.
No?
Hell no.
No?
Thank you. Please, that's
Big
like
facts.
the most basic, obvious thing, as all artists should know.
But I feel like in 2020, what is it?
Those ain't
2023?
artists. Those are
What
rappers
year
and
is
singers.
it?
You know what I'm saying? Like, those are rappers and singers and
But here's the
content
thing.
creators.
But
Like,
look at it though. People want more followers. With more followers, you have the potential to sell more things that you want to probably sell.
I got a
Like,
weird answer. I think it depends on the art you make.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the art you make.
Let's talk about it.
It's like certain
That's what I'm
certain
saying.
kinds of art
Most
are
people
consumer
ain't
are
artists.
more so consumer products, and so like if you're making a certain kind of art and it's a consumer product,
like a painting.
then yeah, you should have clout.
Well, let me
You should
ask
have
y'all
money.
this.
Like, if you're making art, if you're making it for, if you're prioritizing the message more, you're prioritizing like I
The
don't know,
passion.
the passion of if there's something that's more important than the consumer product, than the marketability of it. Then at that point you're not really operating on that hierarchy. You're not trying to get a lot of money. You're not trying to get a lot of clout. You're trying to just make something good.
Let me
But
ask
I
y'all
think some
then.
people I think it's a thin line, and some people are doing one thing.
Super thin.
Would the
line.
Kardashians be as popular or as successful as they are if they weren't popular and famous?
What you mean? What you saying?
The Kardashians.
We heard that question.
Like, let's say, so for example, Kim Kardashian, we didn't know who the heck she was until her video went viral. And then once
Paris
she,
Hilton knew
What
who she
video?
was.
well,
We knew her.
did y'all know? Okay,
Yeah.
well, I'm on.
Well, that was said.
I didn't know.
Yeah, we. Exactly.
But is it possible to have wealth and success without fame?
Yes, that's
Is
so
it?
obvious. I'm trying to tell you. Yes.
Okay.
It's a
Yeah,
difference.
do you know the CEO of Coca-Cola?
You don't.
I don't.
Exactly. Or General
Yeah.
Mills?
Did you know that all of them? They have an owner that owns all of those companies.
What about in
Yeah,
this?
like a
You
million
don't
dick
know that
riders,
guy.
too. Like, those
What
guys
about
are
in this
popping, bro.
industry?
Like,
I'm
we
interested
just
about
know.
in this industry as a musician or as an artist, as a
No,
rapper.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it goes more to kind of what he was saying a little bit. It depends on if you're a businessman or you're an artist. Like what Shu said, he was like, I noticed that I'm a businessman. Like, he knows I'm an artist that's a businessman. Like, I can do this. Same thing with me. I know that, like, dang, I got an LLC, my company, Soul Frequencies. This, we pushing positivity. I'm an accountant, so I know I'm a businessman at the end of the day. But I also love music. I love rapping. So, like you said, it's a very, very thin line.
Honestly, it might not even be a black and white thing. It might be like
Super gray
like,
area.
I should be more famous than I am.
It's
You know, it
super
might
gray.
be like
I should be
know I'm
way
a-
more
I know I'm a
famous
little
than
bit
I am.
avant-garde, but, like,
I agree. Hold on.
Anything to do with it, because I'm a part of a very successful entity and you have no idea who I am, and I like it that way.
Bars,
Don't.
yeah.
Anonymity goes hard because when you famous, that's irritating. Like, I'm not even famous. I'm like low key noticeable
Yeah.
in Dallas, right?
Right.
When I go out, I'm like, dang. Every time I go out, somebody says something to me or
Right.
notices me. So now I can't go out with just my dingy white tee and my this, or I can't go. I
Right.
gotta make sure I'm Nate G every time I go out.
Everywhere
every
you go,
time I
even
do
if it's to
something.
Walmart or some
I
stuff.
see somebody, they notice me. I can't have that perception of them like, oh, you the guy I seen rapping online, Oh yeah, he nice. But then I'm here, and then even when I'm with my daughter, I gotta make sure she look good because it's just perception. So
Yeah.
like every time I'm out, I think that I'm like, dang, I'm an artist. I can't step out here
That's my biggest.
in
That's,
my Adidas flip flops. Like,
that's
unless
one of
I'm
my-
literally at the pool. You know what I'm saying? Like this
Yeah.
is so. I'm not famous, so it's like you said, it's weird. It's a gray area. And obviously that should breed some type of success because success just depends on did you meet your goals?
Right,
Like so.
right.
That person's success, you don't have to be. Now you didn't add rich in there. You just said famous and successful. So just like you could be both, you could be neither. You know what I'm saying?
Let's put it like this. So, you could be popular and you can have a bunch of streams on all the little platforms or whatnot, like Spotify, YouTube, all that whatnot. That's being rich because you done got up on all these streams, but you only made a
They
certain
still not
amount of
rich.
cents on each
'Cause-
stream.
yeah, that's-
So you just happen to be popular. But when you become famous, that's those people who's in the grocery stores buying your CDs, buying your vinyls, putting
Right,
on their walls
right.
or whatnot. that's famous because now you're making the big bucks. Because now you're making about $10 on
Well-
each vinyl.
Well, let me
You
stop
making
you.
About $5
Because you
on
could be
each CD.
famous. You could be famous and have no money. Because think about the girl that Amber Cole, the girl that sucked the dude up.
Oh, damn.
Like
Lord.
the dude said,
Famous.
she was
She
famous
was famous. She was on the Playboy, you know what I'm
for
saying?
sucking. You know what I'm saying? And the dude, we didn't even know who dick she sucked.
That part.
We didn't know that nigga.
And that
But
comes
we
in.
knew who sucked the dick.
I mean, that dude could be considered successful. He got his dick sucked.
He could be successful. His goal was to get his dick sucked. He's definitely successful. That's most of our dudes' goals. You know what I'm saying? Like
Terrible.
But I'm just saying, like, not out of life, but it's just a goal of
Yeah,
the day.
yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
You
That's
know what
about
I'm
the
saying?
that's
Like-
that business aspect too, though. But that's where that business aspect come into because it's like you got to know where your money is going to. You know, you're getting paid to be viewed on the TVs. Why you ain't getting paid directly to your bank account? Why is it going to somebody else?
Because you
gotta know
signed
that-
a famous deal.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Not a
You know what
rich
I'm
deal.
saying? You weren't trying to get wealthy. You know what I'm saying? Rich and wealthy, it's a difference. It's a thin line.
Fame, different success.
being
different.
tied into a crazy like even if it's like predatory, being tied into a crazy contract sometimes is an asset too, though. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, having debt is
if
an
I
asset.
had an
Sometimes.
Old Town Road,
Good debt.
I'd probably sign, bro, and it would probably be a fucked up deal, but it would also be like
It's a
an
platform.
asset to me
It's a
because now I
platform.
can fucking
Okay,
whatever.
yeah.
Definitely an asset.
Goofy ass commercials or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Most artists do that. They be like, boom, let me knock these 3 albums out. Fuck this deal. I'm going to get out of this. Boost my, you know what I'm saying, likability, marketability, all of this stuff. Become famous off of they dime. Pay them back or whatever. You still broke as fuck, but you famous. Now you can make some money off of your fame because you're out the deal. So like, I get what you're saying. It's all situational. It all depends on what your goal is, what it is, what your plot
On a
and
high
your plan
note.
is. Like if you just doing what people say, you're gonna get finessed and fucked every single time in every deal in every situation. And
Yeah.
as an artist,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So it just all depends. So rich, famous, and successful is like a crazy ass Venn diagram.
put the mic on your mouth, bro. Yeah.
Crazy Venn diagram, my bad. Yeah.
Still, you get famous, then you get rich, and then you get wealthy. But like you gotta know how.
The only reason I asked that question is because I'm the type, I'm very introspective, very introverted at times, and that's my comfort. I can be extroverted if I need to be, but I like more so to just kind of be in the back end, and believe it or not. And no, I'm an Aries, boom. Period. But I mean, you know, I don't really like all that success. I don't like all that attention. People look at me and I'm automatically going back to default Chicago. Like, the fuck these people, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I had to learn how to be more charismatic. I had to learn how to be like, when people look at me, like, apparently people want you to smile. So like, I don't really want to be very noticeable. I like to keep my privacy. I don't want to have this paranoia about me where it's like, oh, this groupie person now all of a sudden stalking me, following me home, and now I got to worry about if I got a piece to protect me or not because this person don't understand the difference between entertainment and real life type. I've had that actual experience, and I'm not even popping like that yet. Like, so it's like I don't really want fame. I want success outside of that. So, you know. But we're going to close it out here. It's been a decent amount of time, I think, and I think we got a lot of perspectives. I think that we got a lot of, you know, knowledge and insight, and I appreciate all of y'all for even sharing and coming in. And like,
Everybody had a
thanks for having
good
us.
take,
Yeah,
perspective
yeah.
for sure.
I agree with that. So, yeah, you can follow us on Clubhouse, Invoke Podcast. Jordan couldn't really contribute as much just because she kind of got, you know, this weather is crazy. That's all I'm going to say. This weather is crazy. My voice is, it's raining. It's raining. It's cold today and it's hot tomorrow, and then it's feel like hell the next day. So I don't really know what we're doing.
It's spring.
It's a vibe. It's a vibe. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a vibe. Your whole life. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Live it right, just right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She overthinks and overdrinks their opinions. Digesting toxicity to live.